PMP Mindset Mastery. 5 principles that separate pass versus fail. If you're preparing for the PMP exam, let me say this clearly. Memorizing processes is not enough. The PMP exam does not test memory. It tests judgment. And judgment comes from mindset. In this short video, I'm going to summarize the 5 core PMP principles that consistently determine the correct answer on the exam and give you a preview of our upcoming deep dive video series. Why mindset matters. 2 candidates can study the same material. 1 passes, 1 fails. The difference is not knowledge. It's how they interpret situational questions. The PMP exam rewards structured thinking patterns. Once you recognize those patterns, the correct answer becomes predictable. Here are the 5 principles you must internalize. Principle 1, customer first and value-driven thinking. The first principle is simple: protect value. On the PMP exam, the project manager is not a task manager. You are a guardian of the business case. Whenever you see a scenario involving scope, ROI, or market change, ask yourself, does this answer protect business value? The correct option almost always seeks understanding first, validates alignment with the business case, analyzes impact before acting. In video 1, we'll break down real exam-style questions that test this mindset repeatedly. Principle 2, servant leadership and team empowerment. The second principle is servant leadership. The PMP exam does not reward command and control behavior. It rewards coaching before escalating, facilitating before directing, empowering before imposing authority. If an answer choice says, report the team member, escalate immediately, issue a warning, there is usually a better servant leader option available. In video 2, we'll go deeper into conflict resolution, coaching, and empowerment scenarios. Principle 3, proactive risk and structured problem solving. The third principle is proactive thinking. The PMP exam rewards analysis before action. When a problem occurs, the correct answer is often perform root cause analysis, review the risk register, implement the planned response, conduct impact analysis. The wrong answer is usually panic, escalate too early, blame someone, apply a quick fix. In video 3, we'll dissect common risk and issue questions and show you the recurring patterns. Principle 4, change management and adaptability. The fourth principle is structured adaptability. Change is not the problem. Uncontrolled change is. In predictive projects, you follow integrated change control. In agile projects, you refine and reprioritize the backlog. In hybrid, you balance governance with flexibility. The exam does not reward rejecting change blindly. It does not reward approving change impulsively. It rewards structured evaluation. Video 4 will show you how to identify the correct response, depending on the project environment. Principle 5, stakeholder collaboration and conflict resolution. The fifth principle is stakeholder collaboration. Many PMP questions test emotional maturity. The correct answer often encourages dialogue, revisits engagement strategies, resolves conflict at the lowest appropriate level, escalates only after analysis. The wrong answers are usually defensive or authoritarian. In video 5, we'll break down high-frequency stakeholder scenarios and show you how to consistently eliminate wrong options. The big pattern. If you notice something across all 5 principles, it's this. The PMP exam rewards calm, structured, value-driven leadership. It discourages emotional reactions, premature escalation, rigid thinking, blame culture, authority-first behavior. Once you internalize these 5 principles, questions become clearer. In the upcoming 5 video series, we will take each principle individually and work through realistic PMP-style scenarios with full answer breakdowns. Not just what the answer is, but why it's correct and why the others are wrong. If you're serious about passing the PMP exam, subscribe to PMX Hub. We're not memorizing, we're mastering how PMI expects you to think.
Welcome to the first video of PMP Mindset series. This is based on customer first and value driven thinking. If you are preparing for the PMP exam, this is what you need to understand immediately. The exam is not testing if you can memorize processes. It is testing how you can think. Two candidates can know the same things. One passes and one fails. The difference is the mindset. And one of the most tested mindset in the PMP exam is this. The customer comes first and the thinking should be value driven. Today we are going to train that mindset using real life PMP questions and answers. No theory, no definitions, and situations exactly like you will see them on the real exam. We will show you the way to think through them correctly. What the value driven thinking means for PMP. In the PMP exam, consider this. Project manager is not a caretaker of the activities. He is not just a task controller. The project manager is a value guardian. That means you are constantly validating in every situation that the decision still makes business sense. You are listening to the stakeholders, you are protecting the business case. The plan is important, the governance is important, but the value comes first. Let's apply that thinking. Scenario 1. Evolving business needs. This is a real exam style question. Let's take a look at this question. You are managing a predictive project that is currently on schedule and within budget. During a quarterly review meeting, the customer expresses concern that recent market changes may reduce the strategic benefit of the project deliverables. The PMP exam will ask you, what should the project manager do first? Options are A. Inform the customer that any modifications must follow the formal change control process. Option B. Continue executing the project according to the approved project management plan. That means do nothing. Option C. Schedule a meeting to better understand the customer's concerns and assess the impact of this change. Option D is escalate the issue to the project sponsor for getting his direction. Now take a moment and think through it. The correct answer is option C. This is a classic PMP mindset. Before escalating or before defending the baseline, first you seek understanding of the problem. If the market conditions shift, the value may shift. And if the value shift, the business case may require reassessment. So the option A is premature. Change control may be required later, but not before the analysis. Option B ignores the potential strategic misalignment. And option D escalates before you have performed any due diligence. Now understand that the exam rewards ownership and analysis. If there is a change in the scenario described, you have to first go and assess the scenario, assess the impact on all the aspects of the project. Time, cost, quality, schedule, everything. Now take a look at the follow-up question on the same scenario. Now after assessing the scenario or assessing the impact or doing the analysis, the project manager discovers that a major deliverable will not create the expected value. What should the project manager do now when the return on investment which was expected will no longer be produced? So the options are A. Remove the deliverable from scope immediately. Option B. Update the risk register and continue monitoring the risk. Option C. Review and validate the business case with the project sponsor. And option D. Continue the work and reassess during project closing. Now the correct answer is option C. Review and reassess the business case with the project sponsor. A project must remain justified throughout its lifespan. So, in between, if the return on investment is changing, it has to be reassessed, it has to be discussed with the right people, with the sponsor to validate the business case. So, the option A that removes the deliverable from scope immediately, it skips the governance. Option B which is update the risk register and continue monitoring the risk. It addresses the symptoms but not gets the strategic alignment. Option D is to continue work and reassess during the project closing. So option D is delaying the action and continuing the investment with the risk. This is a non-viable outcome. So the PMP exam continuously supports protecting the organizational value rather than continuing the execution blindly. Let's take a look at scenario 2, the late feature request. So the project sponsor has requested an additional feature in the project. The team has assessed that the added features will extend the schedule of the project by 3 weeks. Now here is the question. What should the project manager do first? And the options are A. Reject the request to protect the schedule baseline. Option B is analyze the impact of the change on scope, schedule, cost, and business value. Option C is direct the team to compress the schedule. Option D is to escalate the request to the steering committee. Let's think over this. So the correct answer is B. Think before reacting. And you will see this pattern repeatedly on the PMP exam. Analyze before reacting. Strong project managers do not say yes or no immediately. They go back, gather the data, assess the data, see the impact on the time, cost, schedule, quality, cost, everything, and then they take the decision. So what they do is assess the impact and evaluate the changed value. So here we can see the option A was to reject the request, which is very defensive. Option C is to direct the team to compress the schedule. This is risking the burnout and quality issues will be there in the future. Option D, going to the steering committee, is escalation without analysis. So option B is the right option to analyze the impact of the change, check the scope, check the schedule, what is the impact on the cost, is the business value still valid, validate the business value, and then move on to the decision making. So the PMP mindset is structured, it is analytical. Now let's go on with the next follow-up question. Now you have assessed the impact of the change, you know what is the impact on the cost, schedule, resources. After completing this impact analysis, the project manager determines the new feature significantly increases customer satisfaction, but it delays the market launch. Now, what is the next best step? Is it A. Approve the change immediately? Is it B. Submit the change request through the integrated change control process? Option C is to ask the sponsor to defer the request to a future phase. And option D is to update the schedule baseline to reflect the delay. Think about the correct answer. The correct answer is B. Even if the change is value enhancing, it should go through the governance procedures. This PMP mindset balances agility with control. So the value informs the decisions, but the discipline protects the organization. Scenario 3. Agile value misalignment. In an agile project, stakeholders review the latest product increment. Although it meets the acceptance criteria, they indicate it does not adequately solve the primary business problem. Here is your question. What should the project manager or scrum master do? Option A is to close the sprint and proceed to the next iteration. Option B is to facilitate a discussion to refine and prioritize the product backlog. Option C is to document the feedback for future consideration, and option D is to replace the product owner. Now, if you look at all these options, option B sounds to be the most suitable option, which is facilitate a discussion to refine and reprioritize the product backlog. The agile environments are built on frequent inspection and adaptability. If the delivered functionality does not meet the business needs, backlog refinement is required. So option A is ignoring the value feedback. Option C is delaying the necessary adaptation. And option D is an extreme reaction without the root cause analysis. Again, the value alignment is driving the action. Let's look at scenario 4, market disruption. Let's see the scenario. Midway through the project execution, a competitor releases a disruptive product that significantly reduces the projected profitability for your product's deliverables. Interesting. What should the project manager do first? Option A, terminate the project immediately. Option B is to continue execution to avoid sunk cost loss. Option C, conduct a benefits review with key stakeholders. And option D is to reduce the project scope to control the cost. To me, it sounds like option C, conduct a benefits review with key stakeholders, is the most suitable answer in this scenario. The PMP exam expects rational evaluation of the scenario, not the emotion based reactive decision making. So, before terminating the project or reducing the scope of the project, you review the updated forecast and confirm whether the project is still viable. So now the analysis has confirmed that the project no longer is aligned with the strategic objectives of the project. In that situation, what is the best course of action? Let's look at the options. So option A is to fast track the remaining work to finish quickly. Option B is to recommend project termination. Option C is to reduce quality requirements to save the cost. And option D is to request additional funding to recover the losses. Now look at the scenario where the analysis has confirmed that project is not aligned with strategic objectives. So there is no any point in continuing with this project. In that case, the correct answer I would suggest is B. It is to recommend the project termination. This may feel uncomfortable, but it is very PMP aligned answer, and PMP expects this kind of decision making. So continuing a project that's no longer going to deliver the expected value is called poor governance. This exam strongly supports protecting organizational investment. So looking at the key exam pattern, if you look at every correct answer that we have seen today, you will notice a consistent pattern. So the correct answer always seeks understanding first, analyzes the impact before taking any decision, they validate alignment with the business case, and protect value over process rigidity or egos. That is the PMP thinking. Practical mindset training. As you start preparing for the exam, start practicing with this mindset shift. One important tip: while reading any question, ask yourself, which option best protects the business value in the long term? Now that question itself will eliminate half of the wrong answers. So the PMP exam is not about memorization. It is about judgment, and the judgment comes from the right mindset. In the next video, we'll learn about servant leadership and team empowerment, another heavily tested PMP mindset. If this has helped you to think more clearly about PMP exam questions, please subscribe to PMX Hub. At PMX Hub, we are not just preparing to pass, we are preparing to think like project leaders. For more content related to PMP exam and project management, please follow PMX Hub on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you. Welcome to our second video in the PMP Mindset series, Servant Leadership and Team Empowerment. If you are preparing for the PMP exam, there is one mistake I see made repeatedly. Candidates answer questions like managers, but the PMP exam expects you to answer like a leader, and more specifically, like a servant leader. Today, we are covering one of the most heavily tested mindset in PMP, the servant leadership and team empowerment. If you misunderstand this concept, you will consistently choose wrong answers in agile scenarios and hybrid scenarios, as well as the predictive scenarios. Let's train this mindset properly. What servant leadership means in PMP exam. In the PMP world, leadership is not about control. It's not about escalating every issue. It's not about authority. It's not about directing people. It's not about escalating every issue. Servant leadership means you remove obstacles, you develop people, you facilitate collaboration, you empower decision making, you build ownership in the team. The project manager does not command the team. The project manager enables the team. Now let's apply this to PMP style scenarios. Scenario 1 is about team conflict. So, you are managing a cross-functional project team. Two senior team members are in conflict over the technical approach for a key deliverable. The disagreement is affecting the team morale and slowing the progress. Now the question, What should the project manager do first? Option A is to escalate the issue to functional management. Option B is to decide the best technical approach and direct the team accordingly. Option C is facilitate a discussion between the team members to reach a resolution. And option D, remove one of the team members from the project. The correct answer to me seems option C, where you facilitate a discussion between the team members to reach to a resolution. This is classic servant leadership. So the PMP mindset promotes collaboration and conflict resolution at the lowest possible level in the organization. You do not immediately escalate the issues. You do not immediately terminate the people. You do not immediately impose the authority. Option A, to escalate, it shows avoidance. Option B, to decide on the best technical approach and direct the team, is command and control. It's basically you taking the decision and telling them what is right or wrong. Option D, to remove or terminate the person, is excessive and emotional reactive decision making. The exam rewards collaboration and emotional intelligence. Let's look at another follow-up question on this scenario. After facilitating the discussion, the disagreement continues and project deadlines are at risk. What should the project manager do next? Either he should choose option A, escalate to the sponsor for a final decision. Option B is to use a structured problem-solving technique to guide the decision making. Option C, issue a formal warning to both team members. Option D, assign the decision to the most senior team member. So option B looks like the correct answer, where you use a structured problem-solving technique to guide the decision making. So before escalation, the PMP mindset encourages structured facilitation. So the option A, escalate to the sponsor for final decision, it's premature escalation. Option C is issue a formal warning, it damages the morale of the team members. And option D undermines the team empowerment because the decision making is assigned to somebody else. Escalation is not the first tool for a strong project leader. Now let's take a look at scenario 2, team member underperformance. Let's take a look at this scenario. A team member in an Agile project has consistently failed to complete assigned user stories during multiple sprints. Now here is the question. What should the project manager or Scrum Master do first? Option A, report the team member to functional management. Option B, reassign the user stories to a stronger team member. Option C, meet privately with the team member to understand the root cause. Or option D, remove the team member from the team. Think about the correct answer, but I think you have already thought about it. The correct answer is C. Now, servant leadership begins with understanding. Understand the issues behind underperformance, whether there is a skill gap, is there a physical health issue, or is there any other personal problem. The workload may be unrealistic. Is the acceptance criteria clear? So you coach before you control. Option A is escalation without doing any investigation. Report the team member to functional manager is just escalation. Option B, to assign the user stories to a senior team member, is hiding the problem. Option D, to remove the team member from the team, is extreme. It is premature decision making. So PMP exam favors coaching and development over punishment. Now let's take a look at another follow-up question. If the issue is due to lack of specific technical knowledge, what is the best action? Option A, replace the team member immediately. Option B, provide the training or pair them with an experienced team member for job shadowing. Option C, extend the sprint timelines permanently. Or option D, escalate the issue to the sponsor. The correct answer is option B, provide the training or pair them with a senior member who has more knowledge and he or she can learn with that senior person while shadowing them. So the servant leader always develops the team. The PMP exam consistently supports coaching, developing, skill building. Replacing the people is rarely the solution to the problem. Scenario 3 is stakeholder bypassing the team. A senior stakeholder frequently bypasses the project manager and assigns tasks directly to the team members causing confusion and conflicting priorities. What should the project manager do first in this scenario? Option A is to escalate the issue to the sponsor. Option B, inform the stakeholder that this behavior is unacceptable. Option C, meet the stakeholder to clarify the roles and communication protocols. Option D, instruct the team to ignore direct stakeholder requests. The correct answer you can see is option C. Servant leadership is protecting the team from disruption, but that is to be done professionally. You clarify expectations, enforce governance, but you maintain relationships as well. Option A, to escalate the issue to the sponsor, it is premature escalation. Option B, to inform the stakeholder that his behavior is unacceptable. That has a potential to create conflict with the sponsor. The relationship needs to be maintained. And option D, to instruct the team to ignore direct stakeholder requests. That may increase the tension, may create miscommunication. So this PMP mindset has to balance assertiveness with collaboration. Scenario 4 is self-organizing teams. In a hybrid project, the team asks for greater autonomy in deciding how to complete their work packages. Now here is the question. What should the project manager do? Deny the request to maintain control. Option B, approve autonomy without guidance. Option C, support the team's self-organization while ensuring alignment with the project. Option D, escalate the request to senior management. The correct answer looks like option C, support the team's self-organization while ensuring alignment with the project objective. Servant leadership does not mean absence of the organization structure. It means empowerment within boundaries. You give autonomy, but you expect alignment with scope, cost, quality, on the boundaries of the project. So the option A, to deny the request, reflects command and it reflects control. Option B, to approve the autonomy without guidance, that is risking chaos. There is potential to chaos. And option D, to escalate the request to senior management, is premature escalation, which is unnecessary. So the PMP exam rewards balanced empowerment, recognizing the exam pattern. So in every correct answer given today, recognize what is missing. There was no immediate escalation, there was no authoritarian decision making, and no punishment first behavior. The correct answers always facilitated, coached, developed, empowered, clarified. That is called the servant leadership mindset. Now, how to apply this in the real exam? After reading the PMP exam question, if the answer sounds like escalate immediately, report the team member, direct the team without discussion, there is usually a more collaborative servant leadership option available. Choose the option that will strengthen the team. Practical mindset training. As you prepare, ask yourself, in a difficult team situation, do I default to control or coaching? That reflection alone will improve your exam performance. The PMP exam is not testing whether you can manage the task. It is testing whether you can lead the people. In our next video, we'll focus on proactive risk management and problem solving. This is another mindset that frequently decides the correct answer. If this video has helped clarify servant leadership for you, please subscribe to PMX Hub. We are building mindset, not memorization. For more content on PMP exam and project management, please follow PMX Hub on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you. See you in the next video. Welcome to video 3 of PMP Mindset series. We are discussing proactive risk and problem-solving mindset. If you have been solving PMP questions and thinking, why is my answer wrong? I would just go and fix the question. Then this video is for you. One of the biggest difference between real-world reactions and PMP exam thinking is this. The PMP exam rewards proactive leadership, not the reactive firefighting. In many questions, something has already gone wrong, and the wrong answers usually immediately jump to fix the symptoms. But the correct answer often involves fixing something else first. It is understanding, analyzing, and following structured problem solving. Today, we are training the proactive risk and problem solving mindset. It is one of the most consistent patterns in PMP exam. What proactive means in PMP thinking. In the PMP world, Project managers do not wait for the problems to explode. They identify risks early, analyze the root causes, follow structured processes, avoid emotional reactions, document and update relevant artifacts. When you say panic in an answer choice, it's usually wrong. Let's apply this knowledge. Scenario 1. Risk becomes an issue. You identified a supplier delay as a high-risk item earlier in the project. Despite mitigation efforts, the supplier informs you that they will miss the delivery dates, impacting the schedule. Here is the question now. What should the project manager do first? Option A. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor. Option B. Implement the agreed upon risk response plan. Option C. Replace the supplier immediately. Option D. Update the lessons learned register. So if you can see all the options and evaluate the possibilities and the reason behind all these options, looking at them, option B looks like the most suitable to me because it is implementing the agreed upon risk response plan. The risk response has been planned proactively. This is a classic PMP pattern. The risk was identified, a response plan was created. Now the risk has materialized. Now what you're doing is implementing the risk response plan. So the option A, to escalate the issue to project sponsor, is a premature decision making if escalation criteria is not met. Option C, to replace the supplier immediately, is ignoring the contractual and the procedural considerations which has been agreed between the buyer and supplier. Option D, to update the lessons learned, is something that is done during closing. Definitely not during execution. And not first. The PMP exam expects you to use existing plans before improvising on the scenario. Now let's take a look at one follow-up question on this. After implementing the response plan, the schedule impact remains significant. Now what should the project manager do next? Option A, fast track the remaining work without any analysis. Option B, perform the integrated impact analysis and submit a change request if required. Option C, ignore the delay and attempt to recover later. Option D, blame the procurement team for poor vendor selection. Definitely, option B is the correct answer. So even when responding to the issues, structured control remains essential. You assess the impact, you determine whether the baselines are affected. You follow integrated change control if necessary. The exam rewards discipline over urgency. Let's look at scenario 2, unexpected quality deficiency. Here is the scenario. During quality testing, multiple defects are identified in a key deliverable. The team is under pressure to meet a milestone deadline. Now the question, what should the project manager do first when the multiple defects are identified in a key deliverable? Is it A, approve the deliverable to avoid schedule delay? Option B, conduct root cause analysis with the team? Option C, escalate the issue to senior management? Option D, reduce quality standards to meet the deadline? So the option A, approve the deliverable to avoid schedule delay, it is sacrificing your quality of the project. So definitely not option A. Option B, conduct the root cause analysis within the team. This is one of the strongest recurring pattern in PMP exam. Before taking any corrective action, find the root cause behind it. Option C, to escalate the issue to senior management, is escalation without doing any analysis. And option D, to reduce the quality standards to meet the deadline, what it is doing is violating the quality management principles. The quality plan, the procedures agreed during planning of the project are now violated. So the option B is the correct option. Before taking any corrective action, do the root cause analysis. Do not treat symptoms. Do not compromise quality. Do not escalate prematurely. Let's take a look at another follow-up question. If the analysis shows that unclear requirements caused these defects, what should the project manager do next? Either he should use option A, issue a warning to the development team. Option B, update the requirements, documentation, and improve validation process. Option C, extend the schedule indefinitely. Option D, remove the quality assurance lead. With that understanding now, it's very clear that correct answer is option B. This problem is symmetric, it's not personal. This PMP mindset focuses on process improvement and prevention. You strengthen the requirement clarity. to avoid recurrence. The exam favors prevention over blame. Scenario 3, risks not previously identified. During execution, a new regulatory requirement is announced that may impact the project's scope. This risk was not previously identified. What should the project manager do first? Option A, immediately update the schedule baseline. Option B, add the risk to the risk register and perform risk analysis. Option C, escalate the issue to the sponsor. Option D, ignore the regulation until enforcement begins. Now let's take a look at option A. Immediately update the schedule baseline. You have not done your analysis, you have not seen from where the risk has originated, why that has come into the project, and what needs to be done about this risk. So you have skipped the analysis. So option A is definitely not the answer. Option B, add the risk to risk register and perform risk analysis. Now risk register is a live document. Any change happening in the project needs to be identified, assessed for its probability and impact, needs to be added to the risk register. That is called risk analysis. So if you are doing that after a new regulation has been added, that's a good thing to do. So I will go with option B. Option C is escalate the issue to the sponsor. May be unnecessary at this stage. You can do that at the later stage of the project. But at this stage, what you need to do is assess the impact. Option D, to ignore the regulation until enforcement begins, is a wrong way to proceed with the project, because every change that comes to the project needs to be assessed. The PMP exam expects structured thinking. Let's take a look at scenario 4, the recurring project delays. A project has experienced repeated minor schedule delays across several work packages. Now the question is, what should the project manager do first? Option A, add more resources to all delayed activities. Option B, perform trend analysis to determine the underlying cause. Option C, escalate the delays to steering committee. Option D, revise the project charter. The correct answer is option B. The recurring small delays are pointing towards a systemic issue. Before applying solutions like adding new resources to the project, you need to analyze the patterns. The PMP mindset avoids random corrective actions. So the option A may increase the cost without solving the problem. Option C is escalating without any analysis. Option D, to revise the charter, is not an option, it's unrelated to the problem. Recognizing the exam patterns. Let's step back. In every scenario we have seen today, the correct answer involves using an existing plan, performing analysis before acting, identifying the root causes, following a structured process. And the wrong answers involved panic, blame, escalation without investigation, and quick fixes without understanding. That pattern appears constantly in the PMP exam. So how to think during the exam? So when you see a PMP question in the exam, take a pause and think, has this risk been identified? If yes, implement the response plan. If no, analyze, assess, and add to the risk register. So document it. If there is a defect, perform root cause analysis. If there is an impact, perform integrated change control process. The structured thinking eliminates most incorrect options. The practical mindset training. As you prepare this week, practice reading slowly and ask this question. Am I reacting or am I analyzing? The PMP exam rewards calm, structured leadership, not the heroic improvisation. Project managers who pass PMP are not just problem solvers. They are disciplined decision makers. In the next video, we'll cover change management and adaptability, another mindset that appears repeatedly in the exam. If this video has helped you recognize the patterns in PMP exam, please follow PMX Hub. And remember, we are not memorizing answers. We are mastering how PMI expects you to think. For more content on PMP exam and project management, please follow PMX Hub on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I will see you in the next video. Welcome to video 4 of PMP Mindset series. This video is focusing on change management and adaptability mindset. If you are preparing for PMP exam, you must have noticed something by now. Changes show up everywhere. Scope changes, technology changes, market changes, stakeholder expectations change. Here is the key. PMP exam does not reward resistance to change. It rewards structural adaptability. Many candidates get change management questions wrong because either they try to block the change immediately or they accept the change without any control. The correct answer is always in between. Today, we are developing the change management and adaptability mindset, one of the most tested mindset in PMP exam. What adaptability means in PMP scenarios. In the PMP world, change is not a threat, it is expected. But the change must be evaluated, analyzed, and controlled appropriately. In the Predictive project, that means formal change control. For Agile projects, it means backlog refinement and iterative adaptation. In hybrid environment, that means the balance. The mindset is simple. Be open to change, but not chaotic. Let's apply this mindset to exam style scenarios. First scenario, scope change in predictive environment. You are managing a predictive project. A key stakeholder requests an additional reporting feature that was not part of the original scope baseline. What should the project manager do first? Option A is to approve the request to maintain stakeholder satisfaction. Option B, reject the request because scope has baseline. Option C, assess the impact of the requested change on project constraints. Option D, escalate the request to the project sponsor. Definitely, the correct answer has to be C. Option C reflects balance adaptability. You do not automatically approve, you do not automatically reject. What you do in option C is assess the impact of the requested change. So you have assessed the impact on project constraints like scope, cost, quality, risks. So option A, to approve the request just to maintain the stakeholder satisfaction, that's ignoring the governance. Option B, to reject the request because scope has already been baselined. It is just reflecting the rigidity of the team. It is not reflecting adaptability. Escalating. This is consistent. As we can see in option D, escalate to the project sponsor. Premature escalation should always be avoided. First thing you do is assess the impact. So what PMP exam expects is analysis before decision making. Let's take a look at follow-up question on this. After impact analysis, the change significantly increases the cost and extends the schedule. What should the project manager do next? Option A, update the schedule baseline immediately. Very reactive. I would not do that. Option B, submit the change request through integrated change control. This sounds much more professional response, but we'll take a look at other options. Option C, ask the team to absorb the work without formal approval. No governance, no structured procedure being followed. Option D, delay the request until project closing. Option D is just ignoring the known issue. As I said, the correct answer is option B. In predictive environment, the changes that affect the baseline require formal assessment. Formal review and approval process has to be followed. Adaptability does not mean bypassing governance. The exam consistently reinforces structured control. Let's take a look at scenario 2. Frequent changes in Agile project. You are managing an Agile project. A stakeholder frequently introduces new requirements during the sprint reviews. What should the project manager or the Scrum Master do when frequent new requirements are being given? Option A, prevent further changes to stabilize the project, not in the Agile scenario. Option B, encourage backlog prioritization based on evolving needs. Option C, escalate the stakeholders' behavior to senior leadership. Option D, ignore the request to protect the sprint commitment. The correct answer is definitely option B. Agile embraces change and adaptability, but within the structured boundaries of the project. The changes are evaluated and prioritized in the product backlog. So the option A, to prevent further change, is contradicting the Agile principle of adaptability. Option C, to escalate the stakeholders' behavior to senior leadership, is going to ruin your relationship and it's unnecessary at this stage. Option D, ignore the request, is just ignoring the stakeholders' feedback. Every stakeholder's feedback needs to be considered. The PMP mindset is to adapt continuously while maintaining the transparency. Let's see another follow-up question. If the frequent changes are causing team burnout and velocity instability, what should be done next? Option A, remove the stakeholder from review meetings. Option B, facilitate a discussion to establish clear prioritization and capacity expectation. Option C, extend sprint duration permanently. Option D, freeze the backlog for the remainder of the project. That's not how Agile works. So the correct answer is option B, facilitate a discussion to establish clear prioritization and capacity expectations. Adaptability also includes protecting team sustainability. A servant leader facilitates alignment between stakeholder expectations and team capacity. So freezing the change contradicts Agile principle. Extending the sprint duration avoids the root issue. When you are removing the stakeholder, it damages collaboration. So the key is balanced adaptability. Let's see scenario 3. Organizational change impact. Midway through a project, the organization undergoes restructuring. Several stakeholders are replaced and reporting relationships change. What should the project manager do first? A. Continue execution without adjustment. Option B. Update the stakeholder register and reassess engagement strategies. Option C. Escalate the situation to the project sponsor immediately. Option D. Pause the project until the restructuring is complete. Think about the correct answer. I think it is option B. Update the stakeholder register and reassess engagement strategies. Due to this organizational change, all the stakeholder dynamics have majorly been revamped. The PMP mindset expects you to have an immediate proactive stakeholder reassessment. So you update the stakeholder register immediately, reassess the impact, the influences, and then adjust the communication plan accordingly. So option A is ignoring the risk with continuing the execution. Option C, to escalate the situation. It may be necessary later, but not at this stage before analysis. Option D, pausing the project until restructuring is done. That's excessive. What is expected is to reassess the stakeholder register and plan the stakeholder communications accordingly. So adaptability includes reassessing stakeholder engagement. Scenario 4. Technology change during execution. A new technology becomes available during project execution that could significantly improve the performance but requires rework. What should the project manager do first? Option A, immediately adopt the new technology. Option B, reject the new technology to avoid disruption. Option C, conduct an impact analysis and review alignment with the business case. Option D, ask the technical team to decide independently. I think the correct answer is option C, conduct an impact analysis and review the alignment with the business case. This scenario tests strategic adaptability. New technology is a new opportunity, and all opportunities need to be reviewed, assessed in terms of cost, time, quality, business benefit, value. So option A, to immediately adapt the new technology, is very impulsive. We don't know what the technology is and how it's going to affect the business benefits. Option B, to reject the technology, is very reactive, very resistant, very rigid. Option D, to ask the technical team to decide independently, is lacking the leadership oversight. The PMP exam consistently rewards structured evaluation. Recognizing the pattern across all these scenarios, notice something. The correct answer never rejects change emotionally, never accepts change blindly, and never escalates without analysis. Instead, the correct answer evaluates impact, follows governance, and adjusts plan responsibly. It also maintains alignment with values and strategy. That is alignment in PMP terms. So how to think during the PMP exam? So when you see a change related question in your exam, ask yourself whether this scenario is in predictive, agile, or hybrid. If it is predictive, think formal change control. If it is agile, think backlog refinement and prioritization. If it is hybrid, think balanced governance. That thinking of framework will eliminate most of the wrong answers. As you study this week, reflect on your own behavior. Do you resist change or you accept it too quickly? Strong project managers evaluate change calmly and systematically. And that is what the PMP exam expects from you. Change is not an enemy in the project management. Uncontrolled change is. In our next video, we'll cover stakeholder collaboration. It is another powerful mindset that directly impacts the performance in the exam. If this video has helped you clarify your change management thinking, please subscribe to PMX Hub. Here we are training your exam judgment rather than memorizing the answer. For more content on PMP exam and project management, please follow PMX Hub on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I will see in video 5 of this PMP Mindset series. Thank you. Welcome to video 5 of PMP Mindset series. This video covers stakeholder collaboration and conflict resolution mindset. If there is one area where PMP exam candidates consistently lose points, it is stakeholder management. Why? Because in real life, we get frustrated, we defend ourselves, we escalate quickly, we avoid difficult conversations. But the PMP exam is expecting something different from you. It expects mature stakeholder collaboration. It expects structured conflict resolution. It expects diplomacy over escalation. Today, we are training the stakeholder collaboration and structured conflict resolution mindset. It is one of the most heavily tested domain in PMP exam. So what this mindset really means? In PMP thinking, stakeholders are not obstacles. They are part of the project system. And your responsibility is to engage them properly. Understand the stakeholders' influence and interest. Manage stakeholders' expectations proactively. Resolve the conflicts at lowest possible level. The exam almost always rewards collaboration before escalation. Let's apply that. Let's take a look at scenario 1, unhappy stakeholder. A key stakeholder informs you that they are dissatisfied with the project's progress and feel that their concerns are not being addressed. What should the project manager do first? Option A, escalate the issue to the project sponsor. Option B, review the stakeholder engagement plan and meet the stakeholder to understand the concerns. Option C, defend the team's performance using project metrics. Option D, remove the stakeholder from decision-making discussions. I think the correct answer is option B, where you review the stakeholder engagement plan, meet with the stakeholder to understand their concerns. Only that option is reflecting the proactive approach of engaging with the stakeholder. Before escalating or before defending your performance, you should always be understanding the expectation from the stakeholder. We need to first review the stakeholder engagement plan, assess where the expectations were misaligned, have a direct conversation with the stakeholder. So option A is premature escalation. Option C is very defensive stance. Option D, it damages the relationship with the stakeholder. That's why option B is the most suitable option here. So this exam rewards empathy and structured engagement with the stakeholder. Let's see another follow-up question. After meeting with the stakeholder, you realize their expectations were never clearly defined at project initiation. What should you do next? Option A, update the stakeholder engagement plan and communication plan. Option B, inform the stakeholder that expectations cannot be changed mid-project. Option C, escalate to steering committee. Option D, document the issue for lessons learned and continue execution. I think the correct answer is option A, update the stakeholder engagement plan and the communication plan. The stakeholder dissatisfaction often relates to miscommunications or the gaps in communication. When you adjust the engagement strategies, you clarify the expectations, you realign the communication. The PMP exam favors adaptability over rigidity. Let's see scenario 2, conflict between stakeholders. Two influential stakeholders disagree about project priorities. One prioritizes speed to market, while the other prioritizes enhanced features. What should the project manager do first? Option A, choose the priority that aligns with original scope baseline. Option B, escalate the disagreement to executive leadership. Option C, facilitate a discussion to align priorities with the project's business objectives. Option D, delay the decision until the next phase. I think option C, facilitate a discussion to align priorities with the project's business objectives, is the most suitable at this stage. This PMP mindset resolves conflict through facilitation and alignment with project strategic goals. So you are bringing the stakeholders together, you reassess the business case, you are aligning the decisions with value being created. Option A ignores evolving the strategy. Option B is premature escalation. Option D is avoiding the resolution. That's why option C is the correct one. The PMP exam consistently rewards collaborative problem solving. Now let's go to the follow-up question. If alignment cannot be reached and the conflict impacts strategic direction, what is the best next step? Option A, make the decision independently as project manager. Option B, escalate the issue to the sponsor with documented impact analysis. Option C, pause the project indefinitely. Option D, allow both priorities to proceed simultaneously. Definitely, correct answer is B, escalate the issue to the sponsor with documented impact analysis. Escalation is appropriate, but only after facilitation and analysis. Remember this, the PMP exam does not discourage escalation. It discourages premature escalation. Documented impact analysis is showing professionalism and structure. Let's take a look at scenario 3, a resistant stakeholder. A stakeholder resists a recently approved project change, arguing it increases the workload for the department. What should the project manager do first? Option A, inform the stakeholder the change has already been approved and must be implemented. Option B, escalate the resistance to senior management. Option C, meet the stakeholder to understand concerns and address the impact. Have you thought about the answer? I think the correct answer is option C. Meet the stakeholder to understand the concerns and address their impact. The resistance to implementation often stems from the concerns from impact. The PMP mindset addresses the human side of the change. You listen, you clarify benefits, you develop the mitigation options. Option A, to inform the stakeholder the change has already been approved, is authoritarian. It's not adaptable. Option B, to escalate the resistance, is premature escalation again. Option D, delay the change management, is ignoring the governance processes. Option C is the right answer. Let's see scenario 4, communication breakdown. During execution, stakeholders claim that they were not informed about key milestone updates, even though reports were distributed according to the communication plan. What should the project manager do first? A, blame the stakeholders for not reviewing the reports. B, review and release the effectiveness of the communication plan. Escalate the issue to the sponsor. Stop distributing the written reports. I think option B, review and reassess the effectiveness of the communication plan, is something that needs to be done at this stage. In PMP thinking, communication effectiveness is measured by understanding, not by distribution of the communication. If the stakeholders are still unaware, the communication approach needs to be reassessed. Option A, to blame the stakeholders, it is a defensive stance. Option C definitely is premature escalation, and option D is very reactive and unstructured, where you are stopping the distributing of written reports. That should not be done. Communication should flow smoothly. Recognizing this pattern across all the scenarios that we have seen today, the correct answers encouraged dialogue, revisited the engagement strategies, aligned decisions with business objectives, escalated only when necessary and with right analysis. The wrong answers escalated immediately, defended emotionally, imposed authority, and avoided discussions. Understanding this discussion is critical for the exam success. So how to think during the exam? When reading stakeholder questions, ask yourself, have I attempted direct communication first? Have I reviewed the stakeholder engagement plan? Am I resolving this at the lowest appropriate level? If the answer is no, you have probably chosen the wrong answer. Practical mindset training. As you prepare this week, reflect on how you handle conflict in real life. Do you avoid it? Do you escalate too quickly? And do you become defensive? The PMP exam rewards calm, structured collaboration. That's the mindset. With this video, we have covered 5 core PMP mindsets: customer first thinking, servant leadership, proactive risk management, adaptability to change, and stakeholder collaboration. If you internalize these patterns, your exam performance will improve dramatically. In this video series, we have tried to train your mindset so that you don't need to memorize the answers and you master the judgment. For more content on PMP exam and project management, please follow PMX Hub on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you. I will see you in my next video.